Okay, guys, I got the second part. Brad Garlinghouse. It's about the Digital Asset 2025 Summit. HSBC, BBVA, and other banks are getting ready for him to talk about their custody options. Brad talks about the 5-year plan for stablecoins and how important it will be, as well as what the future holds for Ripple in the stablecoin market. He's also talking about the world and the US. It's still not possible to send money across border. It still costs a lot. And guys, this chat has so much more. Follow me through this whole thing. You'll find out a lot. Please watch part 1 if you haven't already. Both of them are great. Let's get right to it. Hey, my name is Crypto Sensei. Feel free to like the movie if it helps you in any way. That's how you can help the show and me. One more thing you can do is join the group, which is very helpful. And if you're thinking about subscribing, you can do that too. We're almost at 100,000 members. I would love for you to be a part of that and go on the road with us. Thanks a lot. Let's get right to it. Let's talk about it. In this part, we talked about building and all the things that could be done with it. Ripple has helped with a lot of different things. Custody, tokenization, payments, stablecoin, and adding to the XRP record are some of the things that can be done. What about all of those things makes you most excited today? That's a really good question. That is a tough question. Let's take a look at the stablecoin business. It could go back to something that went quickly. I believe the stablecoin community has changed and grown faster than I thought it would 5 years ago. This is a good thing. Kudos to Paulo and the Tether team. The stablecoin payment system is going to be even better than expected, in my opinion. A lot of smart people think that the stablecoin business will grow over the next 5 years. I think that's true. It looks like the market for safe coins will grow by more than 10 times in the next 5 years. Let Brad finish his thought, but I need to get some information to you quickly. I will do my best to keep it there. I can't always do this because of my ADHD, but I'll do my best. Our prediction for Q1 has already been beaten, or we're kind of ahead of where we thought we would be. More people are selling something called Ripple USD or RL USD. Look, we're really happy about that, pleased with that progress. I don't think I have a favorite kid here, though. We've had a great time with the parenting business. One of our strengths is in Europe, which is partly because the company we bought was based there. So big banks like HSBC and BBVA use our custody system. This is mostly in Europe, but it's still growing. And finally, the last thing I want to say about this is the build and the unlocking of the US market. As you know, the US market has been kind of frozen because of financial institutions coming in. It's only been a few weeks, but you can already tell that the ice is melting and people are interested. The paying part is now more on my mind. But look, there's a place where things may have moved more slowly than I thought they would. There is still room for change and growth in the payments business, and I'm really looking forward to how that will turn out. The market is worth many trillions of dollars. It's still so broken that it amazes me. I already used my own experience as an example, but look, you can find a lot of others too. You wonder why we still do things this way. Still, we haven't made that much progress. So, that's one of the many things that I think will keep the crypto market going strong this year and beyond. Okay, let's go quickly. He said some things here. First, he talked about a 5-year plan to make 10x on stablecoin. The market is moving up and more than Brad thought it would. Now let me quickly put some things in your mind. Mr. Scott Bessent, who is either the acting treasurer or the treasurer of the United States, was at the technology conference at the White House with President Trump. What he said was that stablecoins will be very, very important in how the capital market changes over time. I talked to you guys a lot about this. This is very important because the Treasury market is made up of only U.S. Treasury bills and is worth $28.6 trillion. There are other types of bonds besides U.S. Treasury bonds in this market, but not business bonds or bonds from other countries. Because of this, businesses like Open Eden and agreements with BlackRock and Ondo help to bring yield to institutional players and tokenized treasuries. And this is going to be very important as value goes from the real world, right? That value will then live on the XRP record, moving from the bond market to the world of blockchain. If you could, 2 parts here, if you were to lock up, say, RLUSD, right? Because you're committing to a time frame that's usually about a year. They have shorter, but I think I saw that it was about 4.16% for a year. The answer changes based on the amount of money given to those organizations. But what people should really think about is what will happen if the whole stock market is put on blockchain, right? When do you just put everything on blockchain? What point does quantum computing become a threat? There are stocks, bonds, swaps, the treasury market, and the infrastructure market. We already know that this will go to Bitcoin. People who work for BlackRock, like Larry Fink, spoke here. The head of Bank of America spoke to us. The head of BNY Mellon spoke to us. All of these people tell us that's how markets will work in the future on blockchain. So when Brad talks about security solutions, HSBC and BBVA and tokenized assets, you also talk about Ripple. Ripple has some of the best technology in the game, and it's clear that they have some of the best stablecoin technology. So when they work with partners like HSBC, BBVA, and Bank of America, if one of these banks wants to make their own stablecoin, that's great for us because they'll probably choose Ripple and the XRP ledger to launch it on. Some places it could be on our Ethereum and the XRP record. But it can also go across chains, right? These kinds of solutions can help with smart contracts, cross-chain, and other things. Take a look at Axlor and ARCX as examples. So I think SafeCoins will grow by a lot more than 10 times in the next 5 years because the US is putting a lot of effort into it. Brad Garlinghouse was on this stage before the top as well. I think the times are pretty close. It might have been the same day, but I think he was here first. For this reason, the US has made this big plan and steady coins will be very important to it all. You get the idea? They don't want to touch a CBDC. This means that they have to deal with the most controlled companies. The US could deal with a number of companies, but Ripple is also on the table. They might be there. Okay, also, when you talk about HSBC, BBVA, and the other partners with protection, tokenizing those assets or keeping crypto safe, the sky's the limit. It really is. Okay, let's do it again. Brad did say that the US market is still pretty much frozen when it comes to sending money to other countries. It's not going as fast as he thought it would. The problem is still worth many trillions of dollars. On the market, I did the math for you, right? It's about $7,500 billion a day on the FX market. Each payment amounts to about $1 million. Every day, about 7.5 million payments are made. That's between 1% and 4% interest on those loans, which adds up to $50 billion to $200 billion in fees every day. That means that if you could switch to something like XRP, you'd save 90, 95, or even more billions of dollars. Imagine being able to save $100 billion every day for a whole year. We could save $36,500 billion. Also, don't forget that this is money that between us, right? Let's pay this amount of money. We need a new system that will save us money, so we earn one. Along those lines, I have a question for you about XRPL. I know you're not the chief product officer, but the EVM sidechain is something I'm interested in. What do you think might happen when that is put into action? I'll go back and answer that. People forget that the XRP ledger really was the first one, and that it had a decentralized market built right in. It had a tokenization engine built in. And that tool for tokenization is not what we called it. A problem asset structure is what we call it. Really fast. In this case, they're talking about the EVM sidechain, which will have smart contract features. This is the news for today.